And sir, I've never seen you fitter than this. Let's give it up one more time for the very handsome hunk. Chef Sanjeev Kapoor from India. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please kindly welcome Bhai Sahab, Satpal Singh Khalsa ji. Sat Sri Akal to you. A huge honor, ladies and gentlemen, to have with us our ambassador of Sikh Dharma, qualified PhD in Chief Religions, ladies and gentlemen, and spiritual authority of Sikh religion in Western world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as he truly has the knowledge of the Sikh theology and has been the recipient of the PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, the ambassador of Sikh Dharma and a respected voice in global interfaith and humanitarian efforts. He brings the Sikh principle of Sarbada Bhala Balla. Kya baat hai? Sarbada Bhala, which means may all be blessed. To life through service, spirituality, and dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge roar of applause one more time. Let's give it up for Satpal Singh Khalsa, popularly known as Pyar Se. We call him with lots of love Bhai Sahab from United States of America. May we please welcome our next panelist, Maharaj Kumar Richard Shivaji Holkar, who brings together the world of tradition and transformation. A royal descendant of the Holkar dynasty, he has redefined nobility through philanthropy and cultural stewardship. From heritage preservation to rural development, he uses his platform to elevate beauty, dignity, and the shared stories that connect us. We truly welcome, with folded hands, Maharaj Kumar Richard Shivaji Holkar ji from India. I can see the roar getting better and louder. Appreciate it so much. Ladies and gentlemen, what a huge honor to have the gracious presence of Her Highness Dr. Princess Antonia zu Schomburg, Lippe of Germany. The very gorgeous lady, inside out. Ladies and gentlemen, royalty, lawyer, philanthropist. What an absolute fantastic feeling of having you here with us. Her Highness, ladies and gentlemen, her work bridges royal legacy with the real world justice, championing vulnerable populations and promoting legal protections for those without voice or representation. She reminds us that true leadership means protecting those most at risk and building systems grounded in compassion. Her Highness, with folded hands, we are truly overwhelmed by your brilliant presence. So are we all ready, ladies and gentlemen, for this very brilliant session? One more time, may we please put our hands together for all of them and request Asle Thaye to kindly proceed further. Kindly take your seats. I'm sorry I kept you standing for so long. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please, oh, wonderful. Thank you, sir. You're here at the right time. That's such an honor, sir. May we please kindly welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as this is a very special moment for us, Nobel Peace Laureate 2015, President Tunisian Order of Lawyers, Mohamed Fadel Mahfouz from Tunisia. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely a beautiful feeling to have you here with us, sir. Truly want to thank you for your brilliant presence, ladies and gentlemen. Just a word. As the key figure in the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet, he played an instrumental role in guiding Tunisia through a peaceful democratic transition after the Arab Spring, work that earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Mohamed Fadel Mahfouz embodies the principle that justice is not just a legal concept, it's a societal commitment to dignity, equality, and peace. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to each and every one of you. Mr. Asle Thaye, sir. Thank you.
Well, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a special panel. It's a special panel because it will take us from the depths of history to the corridors of the royal palaces, to the kitchens, and to the temple, and to the Ministry of Law and Justice. And why would we put together such an eclectic panel? It's really because of the biggest question of all. When Alfred Nobel instituted the Nobel Peace Prize in 1895, he did so because he could see the contours of a time when humanity had the capacity to destroy ourselves, to destroy life on this planet. And he instituted the Nobel Peace Prize as an attempt to speak to the better angels of our nature. And I do believe that it says something wonderful about us as a species, that the Nobel Peace Prize is widely regarded as the most prestigious award in the world. And I think that is maybe the first thing we should tell any aliens, should they ever land on our planet, that the most prestigious award on this planet is a Peace Prize. But we are living in a time when the clouds are gathering, the forces of war are strong and well-funded, and at a moment like that, we need to call together all men and women of good faith, coming from different paths, to try to find a way towards what this panel calls the heartbeat of humanity. And it is my honor to first welcome Chandra Kumar Bose, who is a social political thinker, activist, and a grandnephew of one of India's most revered freedom fighters, Natasha Chandra Bose. I'm sure that anybody of an Indian persuasion would know this name. It resonates in history. And I would like to start by directing a question to you, Mr. Bose. Looking upon your family's history and this famous quote that is attributed to you and to your family, that true nationalism is for peace, for cooperation. Often nationalism is seen as a divisive force. Can you elaborate a little bit on how you view nationalism as a potential part of the solution and not a part of the problem?
Sisters and brothers of United Arab Emirates, distinguished guests and learned panelists, it is really a privilege and honor that I have been given this opportunity to share a few thoughts on a subject which is extremely relevant in today's world: justice, love and peace. Now, Subhash Chandra Bose was my great uncle. So it becomes very difficult for me in today's world to uphold his ideals, his principles. However, we would like to address the question that has been placed by our moderator: inclusive nationalism. See, when we speak about inclusive nationalism, it cannot only be limited to territorial integrity. It must encompass the emotional and cultural integration of all citizens, regardless of religion, caste, region, or language. Taking a cue from the Indian National Army, the leadership was given by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. In the INA, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, even atheists united together. They all ate together, slept together, and fought together for India's freedom. So we need to understand that under very difficult circumstances, if we could unite all communities, maintain communal harmony, I think that is the true sense of inclusive nationalism, which is not only important to a particular country, it is important worldwide. As world citizens today, we must, sitting in Dubai, send a message to all leaders, thinkers, and people who are there to change this world for a better world, that come, let us unite and let us save the world.
Wow. Thank you. I didn't expect such a wonderful statement so early in the panel. Of course, as a member of the Nobel Committee, I'm not supposed to play favorites, but I'm going to do that because I am so happy to have one of our Nobel Peace Prize laureates here with us on stage, Mohammad Fadel Mahfoud. And I would like to ask you a question that is very close to my own heart. And I think that everybody should prick up their ears, because this is a man who has sacrificed more than most of us have ever had. What lessons from Tunisia's peaceful transition can translate to other nations? What can we learn from you, sir?
In
the beginning, I would like to thank you for this lovely introduction from the moderator. I was one of the people who were awarded Nobel Prize for Peace. And I would like to thank the organizers, Dr. Hudayfa and Mr. Rina. In fact, the Tunisian experiment that we have been through since 2013 has been difficult because it required the civil community to be part and to find a solution for a problem that the politicians made. And it was a deep problem. And this conflict led to some assassinations of people, and that's why organizations had to participate. And for example, the Association of Human Rights Defenders and the Association of Lawyers, they had to participate, they had to enter to stop the violence. The Tunisian experiment succeeded, but it's not a model that we can implement around the world, because each experiment, each try can be learned from, but it cannot be copied. What we can learn is to encourage discussion and dialogue, to encourage the culture of differences, diversity, and also tolerance between civil and political parties, because wars at the end does not lead to anything but total destruction. Even politicians will find no one to manage or boss around if these wars happens. And that's why what we can benefit and what we can give to the communities that are living in a conflict times, and to discuss, to understand that discussions will lead to the results that we are looking for. And this culture of discussion can take us to peace and safety for our people. And I would like to end with the following: who is participating in this process to find a certain peace, he will find people who will try to make him fail, whether it's from inside or outside. Then you will have to be agile, you have to strive to continue working and not look at these people who are trying to make you fail. Because peace for communities is something that is required. And for the politicians, I say that they have to look at their people and to look at the places that they are living in and to know that these people are only asking for peace, love, and tolerance.
Please, applause. Sir, it has been said that all that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And I think by your example and by illustrating to us that it takes more courage to patiently seek compromise than to take to weapons or to arms, this is a lesson that we take from you. But on this panel, I would be amiss because I'm a little bit starstruck here. Sanjeev Kapoor, your reputation precedes you. You're famous around the world. You have introduced the gems of the Indian kitchen to ever new audiences. And I was thinking about you when I was reading, it's a book now that is well, quite popular. It's called Butter. It's a Japanese book, where one of the main themes is how food connects us with who we are, how a taste can trigger memories from your childhood, how food from your own culture can create a much more profound bond to who you are and your own identity. And I wanted to ask you a question. How do you integrate justice, economic, nutritional, and social values into your work? Because you've done a magical thing, not only making good food, for which every human being is thankful, but you're also so much more. Tell us a little bit more about that, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Toy. Thank you for a brilliant question, and thank you for all the generosity that you have showered on me. And good evening to all of you, and thank you to Huzaifa and team to put up such a brilliant concept into this big show. And I feel honored to just be on stage with such people. So thank you for that opportunity. See, for me, I would say that food, the way, it's not just I have to see, it is how the world sees it. It's something that brings people together, be it family, be it neighborhood, be it a city, country, beyond a country. It's something which can bring people together, and that's what we need. It's a very old saying when you say that a family that eats together stays together. And I think over the years, what I have seen, and I have seen power of food, and if we see all the conflicts that are there, somewhere it's because of what we see, what we hear, what we feel. It's something, the emotions that we get. It starts with senses. It's sensorial. So any sensorial effect that has on our mind can create a conflict. And that's where food comes in, which is something that if you look at food, power of food is that you are playing with all senses. Sense of taste, sense of smell, sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of touch. When you touch a fruit or a vegetable, the feeling that you get, it's an emotion that these are living beings. Food is living. It's not something that's dead. So that power is something which can create, and that's something that I've been using over the years, that how do you build longer tables, as my friend Jose Andres says, that build longer tables so that we can bring the world together. And I have seen this power in multiple ways. In Abu Dhabi, when I was accompanying our Honorable Prime Minister, I saw everyone turned vegetarian because he's vegetarian. There was no need. And He did not know that this was happening. And when I shared, post-dinner, I shared this with him. He says that food is part of diplomacy. I think we underuse it. I think world can use food's power in diplomacy, and we can create, I think, more cohesion through power of food. And I can go on and on, but we'll talk more.
Thank you for your words, and you're so right. I think that in every culture we have an expression about breaking bread together. It's a first step for humans to come together and share a meal. It's a first step. And that brings me neatly on to a depth of gratitude which I have to the Sikhs, because when I was a young man, on a dusty afternoon, I rode my motorcycle into Amritsar. I drove to the Golden Temple. I was knackered, I was weary, and I was so hungry, and I was fed in the most excellent manner. No money was asked for, and I was able to experience as human being what you stand for, Satal Singh Khalsa. And I wanted to ask you, how does the Sikh Dharma guide us in healing collective wounds through love and service? Because, as we all know, even at the time when I visited the holy shrine, you could still see the bullet holes from a much more tragic past. But wounds do heal. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the Sikhs approach this?
Thank you. That's a very good question. First of all, a very good evening to all of you, distinguished guests, seekers of justice, love, and peace, sisters and brothers. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to the Korakiwala family for putting together this wonderful summit. Let's give them a big round of applause. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here amongst these distinguished panelists and among all of you. The question that was put to me, how does Sikh Dharma, or the Sikh faith, heal the wounds that we are suffering or we are going through? In Sikh religion is about 550 years old. Even at that time, we had atrocities. We lived through them. Currently, we go through them. And what the moderator mentioned about the bullet holes, that was in 1984. The Sikh way is basically doing seva, selfless service. We feed people, like the moderator mentioned, the Golden Temple, which is our most sacred Gurdwara, the place of worship, feeds almost 100 to 150,000 people every day. We feel that by doing this service, we can create love among the society, among the communities, among cities, among nations, among the universe. This is one of the 3 pillars of the Sikh faith, doing seva, selfless service. So love and compassion through seva can bring a big transformation in the way people look at us. So you must have, friends, seen whenever there's any kind of natural calamity, whether it's earthquake or tsunami, you will see us, the Sikhs, probably the second responders, arriving in these cities, these countries, and starting the seva, whether it's food. Food is the number 1 need at that time, medicines, shelter, and many other needs at that time. So the Sikh faith is the bedrock of the concept of Sikh faith is enshrined in seva. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your words. And I know that some people in the audience have visited India. Some of them might even have had the chance of visiting a Sikh shrine. And I can say as a Christian that the way that you receive people of other faiths is an inspiration for all of us. May we all live up to your standards, sir. Thank you. But we also have with us, they have this expression larger than life. And Richard Shivaji Holkar, your career is probably it wouldn't be enough for one movie. You would have to make a whole series of movies, maybe one of those Netflix series to capture every chapter, because few people have done more to bring attention to India's glorious culture and the preservation of that culture. You're a hotelier, you're an author, you're an activist on behalf of the weaving loom. Sir, if I could ask you, and this is actually my favorite question, how does India's cultural heritage help or can help to foster modern peace building? Because I have a very strong sense that this is the case. I'm just not quite sure about how. Sir, please enlighten us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Korakiwala, for allowing me to share my thoughts with such a distinguished audience. There are two ideas that came to mind when I was thinking about how the cultural heritage that India has the opportunity of spreading peace. As most people know, India has been the object of numerous arrivals from outside of India through a specific type of I think osmosis which comes in this territory, in this land. People have been absorbed of all different faiths, of all different ideas and cultures into creating a unity of India, which is the idea of India. Each of these people who have come from distant areas have kept their own individuality and yet have become part of what is today India. Quite a remarkable achievement, I believe. Aside from that, or in addition to that, if you look at Lord Buddha, with his principles of non-violence, generosity, truthfulness, and mindfulness, which spread throughout India, this gave the land the opportunity to hold together, and indeed, his thoughts spread far and wide to the east in ways which I really didn't know until quite recently. So these two elements I thought were very essential in bringing the way of peace and understanding to this land.
Thank you so much for your words. That means a lot. I really think that the Indian experience, bringing together such a vast tapestry of cultural expressions and historical experiences, is in some way a microcosm of our entire planet. And I think that the lessons that you have brought forth are relevant to every nation. So thank you so much for your words. Please, a round of applause. I am also honored to introduce or to bring to the stage Dr. Antonia Sochamburg-Lippe. You have shown through your work, Your Royal Highness, how justice, but we must never forget that the law and justice is also the shield of the weakest, those without voice, those without resources. And I was wondering what does justice look like for those without social or political power? You have done great work in Denmark and other countries on this. Please, Your Royal Highness.
First, I want to thank all people who are here, and I think we are already connected. Dr. Huzaifa made magic happen, and Dubai is the best place ever to bring us together. And we have one in common. We are connected brain to brain. There's so much brain power in this room, but we are also connected heart to heart. Please close your eyes for 1 second and check your pulse. Without heart, justice cannot work. And I believe we all want the same three things. Justice that listens. Everybody speaks and speaks and speaks, but listen connects. Love that lifts and freedom that breathes. Not just for some, but for every voice, every soul, every skin, and every choice. No flags, no fences, no fear between. Just hearts that beat in a common dream. So let the world hear what we believe. With love we rise. With justice we heal. And with freedom we truly live.
Thank you. Somebody should carve that in stone. I thought that was beautiful words. Thank you, Your Royal Highness. And speaking of heartbeats, I would like to ask a question to the panel, because this panel is about the love for humanity and the heartbeat of humanity. And if I could ask you, each of you, to come up with a very short answer to the question, what does the heartbeat of humanity sound like to you? Anybody first? Your Royal Highness, you already have the microphone up.
I think choosing kindness over judgment, active listening, and open to other perspectives, this connects us. And this makes all happen what everybody from us wants in this room and out in the world.
Thank you. Chandra Kumar, what does the heartbeat of humanity sound like to you?
Well, see, today we are assembled here to send a message across the world that heartbeat of humanity can be discussed, but I think the time has come to implement certain feelings globally. You see, we love and justice, not only in the Indian context, in the world context, it is an abstract. A lot of people say it is an abstract definition. However, in a healthy democracy, we need to understand the political fraternity, the people, the lawmakers, are they able to really connect with humanity? Without, I feel humanity is the top most strata of the society, and we all need to connect globally in order to take the world forward.
Beautiful words. Thank you. For me, you know, the heartbeat of humanity, I think one thing that we all share as humans, this feeling that when you get up in the morning and you draw your first proper deep breath during the day, and it feels good to be alive, that is something that we all share. That waking from sleep to a fresh morning, that to me is the heartbeat of humanity. But Mohammed Fadel Mahfoud, how do you view, what does the heartbeat of humanity sound like to you? You have been through more crises than anybody here in the panel.
I personally believe that the heartbeat of humanity lies in the expression, beautiful expression, which is the tolerance and accepting the others and the right to differentiate without looking at the complexion color or the ethnicity or the religion or the background. All of us, we are brothers in humanity. And this requires from us all a sense of humanity before everything, and work to be tolerant and spread the culture of tolerance, as I said just a moment ago, because this is what the humanity lacks, unfortunately, in certain times. And these conflicts are stirred and moved by fascist ideologies and regimes which try to kill this pulse, which I pointed to, which is the origin pulse for the humanity as a whole.
Thank you. And I think that this is a message that can never be spoken too often. And I think that your humility is truly inspiring. Sanjeev Kapoor, you must have a great answer to this question. You are living in the world of tastes and flavors. What is the heartbeat of humanity to you?
See, I think the way I see heartbeat of humanity is the way I see mother giving birth. While it's, in some sense, it's a division. It is something new is being born. What mother does is that she's produced something, and in some sense there's a division. But that division is cohesive. It's togetherness. And it is always, mother is thinking of the child first. I think that's how the world has to see from eye of a mother. Always, if all human beings, we all can see as a mother, behave like a mother, to me, that's the epitome of that the cohesion it will create. No, I think it's the child first. In this case, whoever you are, it's the other person first. And that's how in food we see, whenever we are creating, we are always thinking, who's going to taste this? It's their taste first. A chef is not somebody who puts his taste. You cater to the taste of the person. And that's how we always say that this is for you. And if we can put that on plate of life every day, no conflict ever.
You understand why he's on the panel just before dinner. I'm hungry already. Thank you so much. Satal Singh Khalsa, you are a theologist. You have spent your life thinking about these questions. Maybe the question is even too simple for you. What is the heartbeat of humanity?
Well, to me, the heartbeat of humanity is recognizing the fact that after all, we are all human beings. You know, friends, there's a big difference between human being and being human. Some understand it, most don't. Maybe the next evolution in mankind could be simply from moving from human to kind. You know, if my spiritual teacher, Yogi Bhajan, used to say, if you cannot see God in all, you cannot see God at all. So we must recognize that we are all one. There is but one creator. We have many different traditions, religions, way of worshiping, foods, culture, rituals. But we must never forget that all creation emanates from that one creator. So if we recognize the fact that we are, after all one, I think we can all live harmoniously.
Oh, well, I think this is a sentiment that most of the people that I hold the highest, they share this sentiment, and thank you for articulating it. So Richard Holkar, you are as familiar in the royal palaces as you are in the shepherd's hut. Few people have seen and tasted and explained India as you have. Through your rich life and through your many experiences, could you help shed a little bit of light? What does the heartbeat of humanity sound like to you?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. It actually speaks to something with which I've been involved for the last 50 years, and that is handloom weaving. Handlooms, as you know, or I'll explain a little bit, have to do with bringing together into a fabric threads of different colors, of different textures, of different natures, and the weaver skillfully weaves these together into a fabric. That fabric can be an image in terms of how it is done of India itself, where Indian people have been working together to weave this fabric, which is the nation. So the heartbeat actually is the clickety-clack of the loom. It goes click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, signifying a life devoted to weaving together strands of different colors.
Thank you. I had this wonderful experience. I was in India last year, and back home in Norway, they had found a weave that was together with a Viking sword, and they weren't able to decipher it. There were symbols, but we had been cut off from understanding these symbols. I showed the symbols to a weaver in Rishikesh, and to him it was as easy to read as Hindi. He said, this is obvious. This means luck. This means strength. This means royalty. For him, this were all the symbols on a sword found in Norway belonging to Vikings was as easy for him to read as the paper in front of you is. And so we have so much to learn from each other. So thank you so much for your reply. It was excellent. Thank you. Dr. Antonia, Your Royal Highness, now it's your turn. Please, through your work for underprivileged children, for animals' rights, through all the wonderful work that you have done in your life, and the many corridors of power you have walked, what is the sound of the heartbeat of humanity to you?
I think the most important is that we are all the same. It does not matter if we have a title or anything else. It's all about what we can do. And when I was a politician, I always had an open ear for people. They came to me once a month. I had hours for them, and everybody could come. And everybody could directly tell me what is wrong. Once a woman came and told me there was a baby put on the highway in a toilet. And I was so shocked that in this rich country, I come from Austria, I'm an Austrian-German princess, I was so shocked that they put a baby on a highway restroom. Therefore, I immediately went to all other parties and asked them, help me. And in the parliament, we changed laws, and in every hospital in Austria, like it was before in monasteries, we made little boxes so women in need could put their baby there, and the baby got a new chance. The baby could be adopted. And one of these boys is now 30 years old, and he survived because of this baby flap.
Your Royal Highness, thank you so much, and I think you're such an inspiration for all of us because by all accounts you're a great listener, and I think that maybe the Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, maybe so that we should listen twice as much as we speak, and you're an example that you listen and you bring about good in the world, so thank you so much for your service.
Thank you so much. And this is such an honor to have you on the board. I'm so honored because the Nobel Prize is for me really the absolutely dream prize of the whole world. And it brings so much heart and power, brain power together. And really it's an honor that you make this panel. Thank you.
Thank you. You're too kind. That's very nice of you to say. But you know, now we've done the general sort of introductions. Now you have a feeling of the caliber of the people on this panel. So let's delve into the more difficult stuff. Are you ready? Well, of course, Chandra Kumar Bose, I'm going to start with you. So you're going to be the first one fed to the lions. Are you ready? How do you see that love and justice can be brought to work together in the Indian socio-political landscape of today? Because great forces have been unleashed by the modernization of India. Many take great strides in wealth and progress, but at the same time, many remain at the bottom. Many people are wondering where the next meal is going to come from. How can love and justice alleviate the disparities and the sufferings of the Indian community?
Right. Well, as I was stating, love and justice may seem like an abstract ideal, but in a healthy democracy, they are interdependent. Love in the civic sense demands empathy. Justice ensures fairness. When our systems fail to deliver justice, whether it's social, economic, or legal, it fractures that love between the people and the state. And when there is love, there has to be trust. In today's India, the challenges are to both. Not only in India, I would like to extend this to the rest of the world. This challenge lies with the world to restore both. To ensure that love isn't sentimental and justice isn't selective. So I think it is a seminal responsibility to the people, to the global citizens of this world, to ensure that love and justice plays a most essential role in the landscape in social justice of India. Today in India, we have advanced a lot. We have sent satellites to space, but I feel justice is not served to the nation if we are not able to ensure the right to education, the right to food, and the right to social justice.
Thank you for your words. It reminds me of my dearest Indian friend who taught me something that I think is such a wonderful tradition. My friend is from a blessed family, and he was saying that whenever they had a birthday, rather than to give it to receive as many presents as you could get, the tradition in the family was on their birthdays they would give away gifts to the poor on their birthday, and I think that speaks to the same mindset as you had in your ancestor. So thank you.
So I would like to add, let us not use this expression poor. I would like to use underprivileged. People who are underprivileged must be given their right. We work for human rights. We work on rights violations. Not only in India, we have done work in Southeast Asian countries. And I think the awareness is complete. We are all aware that we must extend the rights globally to people. But I think the time has come for implementation of those rights to the people.
Well said. Sanjeev Kapoor, you know better than most that man does not live on spirit alone, and that a well-composed meal can change one's spirits. And I would like to ask for you, in the times of conflict or fear, as those we are living through today, what healing power can there be found in food?
I think it's a well-known fact. If we were to look at not long ago, one of the most fearful times was when the world was hit by COVID. It was not something which, it was not country specific, it was not rich or poor, it is not what you had, what you did not have. I think it was a level playing field for everyone. And what we saw in India is that everyone was fed, and it's something that people came together. Everything was uncertain. People did not have their businesses. There was no revenue. There was no income. But people were coming forward. And the only thing that was going was people were cooking food and distributing. And it's not something that is structured like you have seva, which is there. There was seva happening in each and every household. People who did not have had. So what we saw was that whether you are rich or poor, whether you are privileged or not privileged, everyone was fearful. But what kept going was this feeling of togetherness, and that bond that food created was something which is that no matter what we say, no matter, I think if this world has to survive, this togetherness, food again I feel is something that can be used as a tool for ever and ever and ever to keep the world together.
I'm becoming increasingly hopeful every time you speak. You do have a voice that I wish that much more people would hear, but you're also quite well known for your cooking shows, and I just hope that you find a global audience, because this type of philosophy, I think many people around the world would agree with. And that brings us to you, Sir Satpal Singh Khalsa. There's a Sikh expression, Sarbat Dabala, well-being for all. What does that mean to you today in these fraught times? How can this concept help enlighten us all?
Well, this expression, Sarbat Dabala, the Sikhs in their daily prayers, in the supplication, the ardas, every time the Sikh prayer is done, this expression is used, Sarbat Dabala. Sarbat meaning the universe or humanity, and good for all, well-being for all. And this encompasses what the Sikh faith is all about. Wishing and hoping that everyone in this world prospers, everyone in this world is happy, everyone in this world is holy. We use this expression every day and every time we do ardas. To me, it means that once you relate to the universe as your own brothers and sisters, as your own one human fraternity, this expression takes precedence over any other act that you might do. You know, the Sikh faith, the bedrock of the Sikh concept is the belief in Ekamkar, that there is but one God. This expression encapsulates that there is a divine essence that permeates every aspect of the universe. And the goal of the religion, according to the Sikh faith, is not to send the person to the heaven, rather create heaven in the hearts of each one of us while we are on planet Earth.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And that bridges so neatly into the question I wanted to ask you, Richard Shivaji Holkar, because your focus on tradition, which is very close to my own heart, and innovation, how do you find that this can coexist in solving social division? Because bringing people together, we all rise and fall together, and this is something that you have spent a lifetime examining, so please.
Indeed, indeed. That is absolutely correct. Again, I'm going to use the metaphor of handloom weaving. It is something which is steeped in tradition and is exposed to innovation. Tradition without innovation becomes static, and if one only stays with innovation, you really lose the essence and the feel of the tradition. That being said, if we look again at the possibilities of division, now there have been, historically speaking, problems between faiths. Sometimes the Hindus, sometimes Muslims, Buddhists, Christians. One of the things which my ancestor, Ahilyabai Holkar, was able to do was able to bring weavers from from both the Muslim world and the Hindu world together to Maheshwar, where she lived and ruled for 30, 40 years, and made a fabric there which was unified as it is today. I mean, I'm talking about in the 18th century. But that bond of people who are empowered, living together, is really a wonderful legacy of what she left us.
Thank you. I was wondering, Mohammed Fadel Mahfoud, you represent a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, and of course, it would be ideal if everybody in the world practiced the values that we discuss here in the panel. But I would like to ask you a difficult question, and that is, what barriers must be removed for justice to truly serve all?
هذا سؤال مهم وأعتقد أن الإجابة المباشرة هي إرساء دولة القانون.
To create the rule of law.
دولة القانون تقتضي أن تكون القوانين صادرة عن إرادة الشعب
coming from the will of the nations, but also
من مقومات هذه الدولة
the basics
القانون
of this
أن يكون هناك
state
دفاع
is to
مستقل
fight,
حر وله
and there is
جرأة
a free defense
مع كافة
and
الملفات ذات الشأن
is able
العام
to deal with all of the documents and portfolios, and also have the basis for justice and to give rights to its people in order for people to be feeling safe. This role, I think, can be played by all activists in the civil world, but especially lawyers. And I personally, I am proud that we are in Tunisia. We have moved from the lawyers who are professionals, who are dealing only with professional documents and to be caring for procedures, to lawyers who have a message. It is a noble message reflecting the dealing with the cases and the main cases that people are living during their daily lives, and they are trying to connect with the public. It's something that has emerged and something that gave the lawyers in Tunisia their specialty and to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, because I think a lawyer should not only care for procedures, which is important, but they should be working with a message and to connect with their people. This side also requires, once again, that the population has to be aware of the state of law, because it is threatened around the world. And you all know that the international laws coming from international courts and international institutions are not being respected, and decisions in countries that they call themselves democratic countries are not respected. So what do you think about countries that has no law? So the work and the efforts should be between all of the components of the community to build this state of law and to define it, defend it, and to be encouraged.
Thank you so much, and I think that goes for all over the world. Big round of applause. If justice is not accessible to those with little means, there is no justice. And if the process of justice is too slow and cumbersome, too many people are deprived of their last recourse. So thank you so much for your words. Dr. Antonia, you have been such an example of how somebody with your level of prestige, Your Royal Highness, can go into this world and make the world a better place. And I was wondering, what advice can you give to us about how those of us who are privileged, and we all are, I think, around this panel, how can we build bridges like you have, and how can we avoid creating chasms and walls, as all too often is the case?
To build bridges is, I think, very easy. And to change the world is all easy. We must start by ourselves. My biggest role model was my husband, His Highness Waldemar Prinz zu Schaumburg-Lippe, and he gave all these wonderful attitudes to our son, His Highness Dr. Mario Max Prinz zu Schaumburg-Lippe. And even when he was a little child, he shared his toys with other people. In our neighbor country were war. And my son started with 8 years old. He collected toys, he collected boots and clothes, and he did something. And I think the most important, when we see something is wrong, take action. Do something, Don't expect from anybody else. And when you start with an action, when you are respectful and try to give all what you can do, then you find people who support you, you find people, they help you, and you can change the world. Start by yourself and treat everybody as good as you want to be treated. I think this is all, when we all do this, when we start in the family, when we go to our neighbors and friends, and then we change the world. I think it's easy, it's only step by step. And when anybody complains about politician, I was a politician. Everybody can be a politician. It's only do it, and it's hard work, and it's not easy, and good salary. It's 24, when you're a good politician, it's 24 hours hard work, and everybody can do it, everybody.
Well, this is an interesting panel indeed. I think that's the only time I've ever heard anybody speak out on behalf of politicians, so that's... And thank you, you're absolutely right. Most politicians are motivated by the same sense of duty as we are, and you're very right. If you want to see change, you should do something about it. And I think more people should try to serve their communities through public service. So thank you so much for that. Just after World War I, a British historian, Arnold Toynbee, wrote a book about international politics, and in the introduction he ended up on a note that really stuck with me, because he was concerned that humanity would not learn the lesson from this most brutal of wars. So they canonized it, they called it the Great War, the war to end all wars. But sure enough, 20 years later, we were at each other's throats again. And Arnold Toynbee, says, a devout Catholic, said that only if humanity were to approach history with contrite hearts. And contrite is a word that is one of those rare and beautiful words in the English language. It means worthily lamenting our sins. And I wanted to ask you, members of the panel, what single issue could you identify that a value that we need to keep close to our hearts if we are to break out of this cycle of violence that we see the contours of, and we know through history where it's going to end, and it sometimes feels that we are on a path that we don't want to walk, but we don't know how to get off that path. And I could start with you, Chandra Kumar. What one value would you identify that we should keep close to our hearts to be better than we have been in the past?
Yes, there is conflict in today's world. Now, humanity must overcome greed, self-aggrandizement, and hate. What we find in the world today I wouldn't like to mince my words. It is mainly the political fraternity which divides people for their vested interests. So the message should go loud and clear from this global forum that we have given you that responsibility to govern, but don't divide communities, unite communities. I think that is the message. Here lies the relevance, today's theme, love, peace, and justice. Peace can be established at the community, national, and international levels only when hate is overcome through love. And very importantly, justice prevails and reigns supreme for all. And thus the process of healing can begin of the deep wounds that have been suffered by humanity across the globe. So let us work for peace. Let us take this forum to the next level. Let us not only discuss, let us work for peace, for global peace, to make this world a better place to live.
Thank you. Muhammad Fadel Mahfoud, you were present at your nation's most difficult hour, and you managed to wrest or to pry peace out of the jaws of conflict. What one value would you encourage the rest of us to practice that you discovered in this process?
أنه لا للظلم.
No for oppression.
ليس في تونس فحسب.
There shouldn't be oppression not only in Tunisia, but all around the world.
وأعتقد أن
And I
قيمة
think
العدالة
that the value of
يجب
justice
أن يقع ترسيخها كما قلت
that
منذ
should
قليل
be
سواء على المستوى الدولي
stressed,
على مستوى القرارات
whether it's
الدولية
on the international
أو
law
على المستوى
or
الوطني.
at the level of the national
وقيمة
and
العدالة
community.
هي قيمة إنسانية.
Justice is a
ولكن هي
human
أيضا قيمة
value.
أخلاقية.
It is also a moral value.
وهنا أشاطر رأي
And I
المتدخل
agree
منذ قليل أن السياسيين
with your opinion that
منهم
politicians are required to understand that what's happening around the world
هو ينبئ
is predicting
ويؤشر إلى خواطر
and
ومخاطر حقيقية.
leading to serious risks.
فبعد يعني سلام هش لا محالة
After a
خلال الستين أو
fragile
70 سنة الماضية
peace
منذ
during the
الحرب
past
العالمية
60 or
الثانية
70 years after the World War
فإننا
II,
نتجه
we
مع
are
الأسف
unfortunately
في السنوات القادمة
going in the
إلى
upcoming
حرب
years
تجارية
to a
وإلى
trade war,
تدخلات أجنبية
into
بين
interferences
الدول
between
واعتداءات
countries,
وعدم اعتراف
and
بحقوق لشعوب
the
مضطهدة
abstaining
مثل الشعب
from
الفلسطيني.
giving the rights to the Palestinian people. That's why we should gather our efforts to serve justice with all populations, for all people, for all regimes.
Thank you so much, and I think that is well worth reiterating, that we should not close our eyes to injustices just because they befall other nations or other groups of people. Sanjeev, you have practiced love through your culinary skills. Could you give us one soundbite for how we can progress together?
I think the question that you asked, Mr. Toy, I would change that. Let's not ask what we have not been doing. I think let's not focus on what is wrong. Let's focus on what is right, what is good. Just spend more time on finding what is going right and spread that word. That would help.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Satpal Singh Khalsa, I know that Guru Nanak was a man who thought very deeply, not only for the future of the Sikhs, but the future of humanity. Is there one snippet or element from Guru Nanak's teachings that you could share with us to fill our hearts with hope and perhaps focus on what we're doing right and not what we're doing wrong, like Sanjeev so well put it. Thank you, Sanjeev.
Sure. Well, Guru Nanak, who was the first guru, the founder of Sikh faith, he was among the founders, prophets, originators of various religions. He was the most traveled one. And his message was very, very simple: universal brotherhood. And the second thing, there are many teachings, so I'm going to try to condense it because Guru Nanak, had a vast experience of meeting many different religious leaders, saints, and all that. So the second teaching from Guru Nanak is develop inner peace. If I feel today in the world that we live with conflicts, 2/3 of the conflicts are due to religious reasons. Decades ago, 4, 5, 6, 7 decades ago, the wars were fought for territorial supremacy. Today, it's the belief of various warring factions. And what is the conflict? That my religion is better than yours, my God is stronger than yours, and that keeps on going on. But I also feel, in a short answer, I know we are pressed for time, even though religion is the basis of conflicts in the world today, religious leaders and religion can also be the solution. Because, as we know, the religious leaders, spiritual leaders are there to stay. Politicians, with all due respect to all politicians and elected officials here, politicians are only there for a short time, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. But the religious leaders, the faith leaders, the NGOs, the spiritual leaders, they are there to stay, and they have more impact on their flock, on their followers. So I think the message of Guru Nanak was universal brotherhood, develop a peace. There should be no intolerance. Apathy should have no place in the universe. We should all practice the ideals of honesty, love, compassion, and recognizing the fact that there is God in each one of us. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. I really think this is the best panel so far. I'm quite impressed with it. And and that's also why we run a little bit over time. But I really want for Richard and Antonia, Your Royal Highness, to chime in on this. Richard, could you point to us to one value that you discovered along your travels that you could keep close to your heart, and that we also should do so?
Indeed. I will be short and sweet and challenging. Justice and peace can best be achieved by mindful, loving compassion.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
See, it's not so difficult. Well said. And Your Royal Highness, Antonia, please.
I think one of the most important is to be thankful. Thankful that Dubai welcomed us. Thankful to the family and Dr. Huzaifa. Thank you to this wonderful host. To all of us, I'm every day thankful for fresh water. It's not normal, yeah? We must be thankful and think every day what you have and how you can share it. And when you start with this Danke in Österreichisch, I'm an Austrian German princess, Danke, and please tell all in your language, thank you. Thank you for this event. It will change the world.
Thank you. And with those beautiful words, we bring this panel to a conclusion. I would like for all of you to put your hands together and get up on your feet. You've been sitting for a long time. Give the panel a proper round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been truly special. We've all enriched our lives, and with us is Dr. Josefa Korakiwala. Truly gratitude to you for allowing all of us to come together. And towards the end, mindful living, compassion. And we spoke of Guru Nanak Sahib Ji. While we're going to have a beautiful group photo op, I'm going to say a beautiful saying that reminds me of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, who says, Jin prem kiyo, tin hi prabh payo. That the one who knows love, how to love, only they can find the way within. We're all made of music and light. It's time for us to please put our hands together as we like to present the token of love, the memento, for our moderator, Asle Taye. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for brilliant session that we had. Asle Toye, Norway Deputy Leader, Norwegian Nobel Committee. Humble thanks to you. We loved every question and it has truly enriched us. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause as we kindly present the token of love to Chandra Kumar Boseji from India, the grandnephew of the numero uno leader of our country, India, Shri Subhash Chandra Boseji. Thank you so much, yes sir. Ladies and gentlemen, from Tunisia, Sir Mohammad Fadel Mahfoudji, our Nobel Peace Laureate 2015, President, Tunisian Order of Lawyers. Humble thanks to you with folded hands, respected sir. It's been absolutely a beautiful feeling to get to hear from you, your thoughts, and all the thought leaders have taught us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have the mobile phones in your hand, it's fine, but otherwise, please put your hands together. And ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Sanjeev Kapoor, the very popular chef who really wins our hearts through food, and what better love than through food itself. The world-renowned chef, ladies and gentlemen, our ambassador of Sikh Dharma, Satpal Singh Khalsa, popularly known as Bhai Sahab, from the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, we had such great teachings from Guru, from Bhai Sahab, and of course, the feeling that we are here getting some great sessions and lessons. Please put your hands together for philanthropist, royalty and hotelier, Richard Shivaji Holkar Maharaj Kumarji from India. Humble thanks to you, respected sir. Ladies and gentlemen, and of course, I was completely shaken by the words of Her Highness. It has really put me to that thought that, wow, what an inspiration, ladies and gentlemen. The very elegant and sophisticated Her Highness, Dr. Princess Antonia zu Stromberg-Lippe of Germany. Truly, you are a motivation, the symbol of compassion and love, and the guidance that she gave us. It has to start from us, from within. I'm going to thank the one and only Sir Dr. Hus. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Huzefa Khorakiwala. Thank you so much, respected sir. A loud cheer as we are all here to celebrate and dine together. I'm going to also thank the beautiful family of Dr. Huzefa Khorakiwala. Thank you so much with folded hands, and gratitude to each and every one of you. And the last sentence that we had in the panel was just thank and express gratitude. So shukr, shukr, shukr. Humble thanks with folded hands to each and every one of you. Time for all of us to get together, dine, meet and greet our loved ones. And do remember, be mentally prepared tomorrow. A gentle reminder for the auction that we shall be having. Let's see who shall take home the Lamborghini Urus, ladies and gentlemen. And besides this, a gentle reminder to all of you to kindly join us sharp at 9:30 a.m., where we shall have